Do you know that as a quantity surveyor or a quantity surveying student, it is expected of you to convert reinforcement from linear meter to kg after you must have done the taking off? Reason being that when you get to the market, you can actually get reinforcement in linear meter, but rather it has to be in kg or in tons. So welcome to another episode of AbdiQuest Hub. In this video, I'll be showing you how to convert reinforcement from linear meter to kg and then to tons. Basically, we have about 3 to 4 formulas used in converting reinforcement from linear meter to kg, but we're going to be talking about 2 of those formulas. I believe you wouldn't want to miss that, so keep watching and don't screw. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Okay, now let's assume we want to take off for reinforcement in a concrete beam. And then let's say the width of the beam is 0.23, which is still the thickness of the beam, and then while the depth of the beam is 0.30. Now looking at this illustration, this has actually showed us the numbers of reinforcement we have in that beam, which is 4 numbers of reinforcement. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this concrete beam, we actually have 4 numbers of reinforcement. Now this is the length of the reinforcement in the concrete beam, and then the length here is 7.50 meter, and then we have the bend to the both side 0.10, and then this side also is 0.10. Now let's get to see the total length of this reinforcement in the concrete beam. The first thing you're going to do here, you say what? Your length is equal to 7.50, which is from this point to this point. Then the next thing you're going to do is what? You say add bend. Add bend, and then your bend here is going to be 2 by 0.1. That is from the illustration here, 0.1 and then 0.1. So that is how we got these 2. So one side of the bend is actually 0.10, and then we have 2 sides of the bend. So that's going to be 2 by 0.10. And then when you multiply these together, that's going to give you 0.20. Then now you add this 7.50 together with this 0.20, that's going to give you 7.70 as the total length of this reinforcement in the concrete beam. Now let's do the booking. You're going to have what? 7.70 by 4. Where are we getting the 4 from? That is from our illustration here. We said we have 4 numbers of reinforcement, so that's how we got this word 4. And then by 5. Let's assume that we have 5 numbers of this concrete beam. Do you get it? So let's assume we have 5 numbers of this same concrete beam. So that's how we got this 5 here. This 7.70 is actually the total length of the reinforcement in the concrete beam, and then why this 4 here is what is the total number of reinforcement in that concrete beam, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then why this 5 here is telling us that what we have 5 numbers of that same beam. Is that clear? So now let's get to see what's going to be the total length of this our reinforcement in the concrete beam. So now we have 7.70, 7.70. Then you multiply it by 4. Then you also multiply it by 5. That's going to give you 154. 154.00. Now this is the total length of this reinforcement here. Now we have this 154 in linear meter. So like I said earlier, you have to convert the reinforcement from linear meter to kg. Now we said we have formulas to convert them to kg. And then now the first formula there is what? D square multiplied by 0.222 over 36. Now where this your D here stands for your diameter, that is the size of your reinforcement. Now let's assume we actually use 12 mm diameter here in this our reinforcement. So that's going to be what? 12 square multiplied by 0.222 and then divide by 36. Now let's get to see what we're going to have. square is going to give us 144, then times 0.222 all over 36. That's going to give us 31 0.968. Now, dividing it by that 36, that's going to give you 0.888 as your what? As your factor of conversion. So now, you're going to be using this 0.888 now as your factor of conversion. How do you do that? You're going to multiply this value by the 154 that we got earlier. So when you multiply these two values together, whatsoever you have, it is now in what? In kg. Now let's do that together. Now we said the total length of the reinforcement is actually 154. Now multiplying it by 0.888. Let's see what we're going to have as our kg. Now we have 136.75. So approximately, that's going to give us 137 kg as the total weight of our reinforcement. So this is how to convert reinforcement from linear meter to kg. Like I said earlier, there are actually about 3 to 4 formulas, if I'm not mistaken. And then this is the first one here. D square times 0.222 over 36. So and then we said we assumed that we use 12 mm diameter. So you substitute the value here, 12 square times 0.222. So when you work it out like that to the end, you're going to have what? 0.888. So this 0.888 is the factor of conversion. So if you are working on any reinforcement that has to do with 12 mm diameter, after you must have done your taking off to linear meter, then you have to multiply it by this 0.888. Then whatever you have converted it to kg. Now the second formula I talked about is what? Is this. We have the second formula there is diameter square all over 162. This is the second formula. So now let's see it if we are going to arrive at the same factor of conversion. Now our d square is still what? 12 square, then all over 162. Now let's punch the calculator to see what we have. Mind you that 12 square is going to give us 144. Then dividing it by 162, that's going to give us 0.888. You can see. So irrespective of the formula you're going to use, whether you use this d square over 162 or you are using this d square times 0.222 over 36, you're still going to arrive at the same answer, which is 0.888. Or even when you use this formula, you're still going to arrive at the same answer, 0.888. Now, we have actually converted this reinforcement to kg, which is 137 kg. Now let's convert it to tons. Now, when it comes to tons, all you need to do is just what? To pick that value now from kg to tons now. So it's going to be 137 divided by 1000. And then when you do that, that's going to give us 0.137. That is automatically what? 0.14 tons as your final answer. Now, converting this reinforcement now to tons, you're going to have 0.14 in ton. But when you're converting it to kg, you're going to have what? 137 kg. That is because when you get to the market, you can't actually buy it in linear meter, but rather it has to be either in kg or in tons. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to follow for more videos. Thank you.